With less than 2 weeks left in 2025, the housing market, did it crash? Did it plummet? Are we still here? Well, that's what we're going to talk about in today's video. There's really no economic news, so I thought I'd recap what the housing market did in 2025. Now, this isn't my forecast. That's coming out in about 2 or 3 days, but we're going to come out and explain to you guys what happened this year in housing. And no, I don't think it crashed. A few areas had a little reduction, but we're going to go over those, and we're also going to go over all the economic news that affects things that you're most likely monitoring if you're watching this video. You're a homeowner trying to figure out, does it make sense to refinance? You're trying to buy that house and you're thinking, okay, if rates stay right where they are, maybe I can just afford a house in 2026. So if you're watching this video, folks, my hope is to explain to you guys what the heck's going on with those and the whys behind it. So today we're going to talk really why rates dropped a little bit, but our focus is going to be on real estate 2025 and what happened. So let's get over to it. Folks, my name is Dan Frio. I come in each day to explain to you guys what's going on with these things. And the reason why I do it is I'm actually a licensed mortgage loan officer. I'm licensed in all 50 states as well as Puerto Rico. If you need some help with a mortgage, I'd love to help you. So I'll give you my information at the end of this video. Let's get to these things over through here. So here's what happened in the bond market today. Virtually nothing. You see this over here. If you're new to my channel, what we focus in on is this bond right here. This is a mortgage bond. So the yield on this thing basically makes up your mortgage rate. When you have a bond market really doing nothing there, well, most likely you're not going to have mortgage rates change, but they changed a little bit, so we'll try to figure out this in a little bit. But let's go over to this thing. There's really no economic news out, and many people kept saying, okay, the world's going to end. Okay, there's the elections now over, and that's going to be, crashing the markets. Then we had tariffs, and tariffs were going to make things terrible. Well, let's really go in and recap what happened this year for real. So let's get over to here's what we're going to break down the markets. We're going to break them down into 4 different sections. Then we want to take the good and the bad, and we're going to analyze those because when you see the overall markets, we didn't have a crash and we pegged that one. So don't forget to check out my my forecast for 2026. I think it's coming up in a few days. So let's get down to this data. How did your market fare? I'd love to know down below what your home values are doing in your area. But let's get down through here. Here's what basically has happened throughout the whole country. So we have the Northeast. They're up 5.7%. Okay, so that's not a crash. Actually, that's a normal market because over history, if you had a house, you probably had appreciation of maybe 4, 5, maybe 6%. So this is saying, in the Northeast, maybe they're back to just a normal market. Okay, so then you had the South. This is where everybody moved to during the pandemic. You can relocate, you worked remotely, so everybody fled to where? Florida and Texas. Well, we knew that there was going to be a little bit of a reprieve there, and it is going to be. But it hasn't crashed. Okay, this was the poster child of where the housing market was supposed to crash. Then we had the Midwest. And I kept telling you guys, okay, the Midwest, where I live, we're seeing a pretty darn good market. And yes, we're seeing that. So between the Midwest and the Northeast, you basically had about 5% appreciation. That's normal in, a normal market. Then you go to the West, and that was another area that saw a flood of people going there during the COVID restrictions and things like that, where you were able to move wherever you wanted to. So now let's go down through here. Here's the areas you're going to say, okay, Dan, see, I told you Florida was going to crash. Well, I told you Florida was probably going to, retrieve from their highs. I didn't say they were going to crash. To me, a crash, maybe 40, 50, 60%. That's what happened in 2008, where everybody keeps saying it's going to be as bad or worse than 2008. But here's what really happened over the past year. Okay, so you had areas like this, Allentown, Pennsylvania. I've been saying the Northeast and the Midwest is doing fantastic. So you had Allentown, Pennsylvania, up almost 10%. Buffalo, New York, up almost 9%. Springfield, Massachusetts, up 6.8%. Rockford, Illinois, up 6.2%. In Hartford, Connecticut, up almost 6% across the board there. So then you go over to those areas, and I've been saying, okay, these areas are probably going to have a reprieve from their enormous highs that they hit. So you had parts of Florida, and these areas got crushed because of also the weather patterns that they've been seeing. Austin, Texas, that is the poster child of the housing crash, and that's where it's been right through here. Okay, Cape Coral has its own issues, but this is where you start getting some overpopulation when you saw Austin, Tampa, San Antonio, Phoenix, but they're not crashing. Okay, so that's what you're seeing there. So now you go back and say, okay, what has home prices done over the past few years? If you go back from 2021, and we skipped a few years because I just wanted to show you the pattern. I have nothing to hide here. But if you throw here 2021, the average house was $350,000. And everybody's telling you, folks, it's going to crash. I've been saying it's probably going to be flat. I was wrong because then it went up to $412,000. So I was wrong on a bad note saying, I didn't think house prices were going to go up, and they did. But now what we're seeing is 2025, that same house that was worth $350 back then is now worth $433 for an appreciation rate of 23%. So if you analyze that and you bought your house in 2021 thinking, oh man, I hope this wasn't a mistake, you probably did pretty darn well. So that's what we're seeing in the real or true housing market throughout the United States. So what's coming down the pike next year? I'm going to come out with my forecast in the next few days, so pay attention for that. But if you're a homeowner right now, I got some tools for you to use to see how rates or how you can figure out locking in a rate on a refinance. Now, does it make sense? We don't know. So what we need you to do is we created a tool right up through there. It's called RateWatch 2.0. What I want you to do is put in your mortgage information in there. What rate would you be interested in refinancing? When it hits there, I'll call you. I'll text you. I'll email you. And I said because we don't sell the data, folks. It'll be me or Tony or Alan reaching out to you personally to go over those numbers with you. Okay, so let's go over to this and say, well, how's the other parts of the markets doing? What are we expecting the markets to do by the end of the year with rates, the stock market, and so forth? Because the economic data right now is pretty slim pickings. So if we go over to the stock market, it's a Cinderella day, folks. What I mean by Cinderella story is this. Here's what I call a Cinderella story. If you have money in the stock market, and that's what I've been pleading you guys to do. We had Stock Talk Tuesday for a long time, trying to help you guys say, okay, invest. Even if it's $10 per paycheck, get into the market because it's not trying to time the market. You want to be time in the market. But here's what I call a Cinderella story. When you have the Dow Jones, the S&P, the NASDAQ all up, and you have the Russell 2000 up as well. Then you have the VIX behind my head. That's basically the anxiety levels on Wall Street. There's really nothing going to happen this week, folks. I can almost promise you, unless there's a text out there that it's like, oh, I didn't see that one coming. Then you go over to oil. Oil's probably down. Well, it's down below $60 a barrel. We watch it because that helps us figure out where inflation's going. And inflation's a big piece of where all the economics are going and where mortgage rates are going to go from there. So now talking mortgage rates, we already said if you're a homeowner, what can you do to monitor rates? Well, subscribe down there. So every day I post a video, you can at least get an alert on what's going on with mortgage rates. Just watch a couple minutes. But wonder if you're looking to buy maybe in the spring, or maybe you're looking to build. I have a section that I want to explain to you guys, and I created this just recently, and I call it Lock or Float. I'm going to keep trying to do that with a straight face, but what I want to explain to you guys is this. Don't keep trying to juggle, okay, what's the market going to do? I'm looking to buy, and if I can save, 0.1% on my mortgage, I'm going to save hundreds of dollars. It doesn't work that way, folks. So if I'm advising you right now and you're closing within 30 days, I'm locking you in because I don't want to worry about what a tweet might take us and things like that, because there's really nothing down the pike in the next 2 weeks that really should really make things really change from here. But if you're closing, let's say you want to buy in the spring. Your lease is up in February or March, and you're like, I'd really love to buy. Okay, what should you do? Well, the first thing you should do is go over to here. Okay, so this is, again, my website. Folks, I've been doing this for 35 years. I'd love to help you. Okay, so here's what I do, and here's who I am. I'm actually licensed in all 50 states as well as Puerto Rico, so I'd love to help anybody out there. I've been doing it for over 35 years. But the unique thing here is the bank that I work at that provides me all the licensing had an ingenious thought of saying, okay, when people call us, what are they looking for? What are you looking for? You're looking for the best rate. You're looking for some help from somebody you can trust, and you just want some guidance. Well, hopefully you can trust us. You can watch the over 6,000 videos I have. Been doing it for over 35 years. Check all my references. But now, do we have a good rate? Well, here's what we do. We've set up with over 30 different lenders. This is to help you guys out. So what we do is we scan. Once we get you approved, we now scan all 30 plus lenders that we deal with and says, who has the best rate? That's what we're going to go with it. Okay, so don't keep doing all the heavy lifting, and if you want to, go ahead. But if you're a homeowner, put your information right up through there so we can reach out to you when rates hit there. But if you're looking to buy down the road, reach out to us. We can make sure you're using the right credit scores that banks use right now. Do they use your FICO score, your Vantage score. Which credit scores are they using? You need to know that. How much income do you need to qualify for that house you're really looking for? Which program would get you there, or which would be the best for you, not the bank? These are all the things that we can help you with. So visit us at therateupdate.com. And if you even want to check in some other things, we go to my blog section right through here. It's resources, hit blogs. You're going to have a whole bunch of information here. You know, there's a first position home equity loan that you can even pay off your house in less than 10 years. Check it out. It's pretty interesting. Then we have a whole bunch of other data here, and this is kind of my forecast for 2026, but it's not the official one, and it's not out yet, but it'll be coming soon. So don't forget to subscribe over there so when it does come out, you get alerted to that. But if you're looking to buy down the road, please reach out to us. If you're looking to refinance, plug in the data here or give us a call. Now that you're a homeowner, or maybe you're a home buyer watching rates every day, now maybe hopefully you have a little more understanding of what in the heck went on with those and why. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you back here at the opening bell tomorrow to show you guys what happens to these and the whys behind it. Thanks again, folks. See you then. Bye-bye.